are. This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Drop Third Strike with myself, Terry Gann, Chicago, Illinois, and my podcast partner, the amazing Beth Stocka in Denver, Colorado.
Well, hello, Terry.
Hello, Beth.
Post-trade deadline. I think
this is our post-trade deadline episode. This is going to be amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I texted you. I know I did. And I said, I really can't recall a recent trade deadline that was this exciting. And then I was validated because, like, on Intentional Talk, they had it up as best deadline ever. And I was like, A lot happened, right? And like a lot happened in Chicago. So you were making everybody mad. You said you had your friend.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And the thing about this trade deadline that I found so interesting is that almost pretty much every team in contention made a move to strengthen their position. And they had to do this with teams who thought they'd be in contention and found themselves not in contention and who just pulled the trigger and changed the situation. Like, a lot of times, third place teams don't trade away assets at the deadline because they think they can become second place or wild card teams, right?
Yeah.
It is not. It's a thing where, like, fifth place teams will be like, you know what, you're our best player, and this isn't going to happen. I'll trade you to the Yankees, right? That's the thing that normally happens. But a lot of times, second place teams think they can make the first place. Third place teams a lot of times end up not doing a hell of a lot, it seems like, because they think they can make a run. But in the case of the Cubs knew, and this is where the issue was, right? The Cubs management staff has been saying since 2015, they won in 2016, but they've been saying basically since their run began that there is a point at which they understand that it's going to be next to impossible to keep this core together.
Yeah. Because
they're going to hit a point in 2020 and 2021 where those original contracts and that next layer of like kind of arbitration type contract, those will have expired. And if they're correct about the assessments of the talents of their players, the value of their own players, if they're correct, they won't be able to afford this.
Yes.
And it's unusual that a team states that kind of thing, right, up front, right? But the Cubs were all about having leveraged players who were worth something at one point before they became good, right?
Yeah.
And signing players that they could trade mid-season who were not their own players, signing guys they could trade mid-season, because doing so would get you more prospects. They were all about, Theo Epstein was all about seeding the farm system with young talent coming up, highly regarded young talent coming up, that could be stars for the Major League roster, right? And then signing players who could be trade pieces to get you what you need to make playoff runs. Now, this worked. Being bad worked for the Cubs initially, and they became good.
Yeah, they did.
When they needed to move pieces to get pieces, they did that trying to make it into the playoffs and beyond. The trouble with the Cubs is the way the team was built. They were a exciting regular season team that never had enough for postseason success out of 2016. And this isn't not having enough firepower. In my opinion, it's about not having the right mental makeups for a postseason run. Because the Cubs were the kind of team that would be in first place or second place or make a wild card or whatever by beating the brakes off of, like, bad teams, right? And then having some strong games against divisional rivals down the stretch. But they didn't have the kind of mental makeup during the season to have good two-strike approach, right? They have solid plate discipline. They have great on-base discipline down the stretch. These things were shown to you, if you were watching Cubs games, these things were shown to you in April and May, right?
Yeah.
They're shown to you enough times that you know that in September and October, this is the part that's going to kill you. The players you currently have, like Anthony Rizzo's the only guy that with two strikes changes how he approaches his at-bats. Yeah. Everyone else is still swinging the same damn way because it's trying to make something happen. When you make something happen, just get on base.
Yeah.
You could make something happen with a home run, but that's like 80s, like American League baseball, right?
Exactly.
This is the problem the Cubs had, was trying to have postseason success, is everyone you encounter in the postseason is better at that than you are.
Yeah.
So the only way you're really going to get there is if you change how you do things. And those players they wouldn't make that adjustment. And I think making that adjustment is only on the players if the manager and the coaches force it.
Yeah, right.
But everyone on the Cubs is everybody's friend. The manager is your buddy, right? He's not going to force that to happen. Like that's that old school sort of sit your ass down if you won't do what I want you to do thing. That's not a thing that happens in Chicago on the north side. So like they just kind of, when things are going well, there's an energy, right? They all feed off that energy. Things are going well, right? But the next day things are going to go, they go very badly, and there's no consequence to change what you have to do. So the Cubs in general were a flawed team.
Yeah.
That won one World Series and got to a whole bunch of playoff runs, right? So that I consider to be a successful team that can't exist past 2021 because if you actually want success in the playoffs, you have to change the makeup of that team.
Yeah, okay.
But now it's time to be bad again.
Okay.
And you got the success you were going to get. You should be celebrating that you had from 2015 to 2021 with this team. The last year's playoff run of 2020 should have shown you everything you needed to know. When you, Darvish, got traded, that told everyone this is the end.
Yeah.
Keeping a Cy Young level guy around. If we're not keeping that dude around, right? Then we're going into next season with this ragtag pitching staff, right? Where Adbert Alzolay and Kyle Hendricks is supposed to hold it together. They re-signed Jake Arrieta. You knew damn well Jake Arrieta wasn't the 2015 Jake Arrieta anymore. So, like, they're doing moves in the offseason to just kind of hold it together. But they absolutely were doing the thing that the Cubs do, which is also signing Jake Marisnick and these guys that can be traded midseason that will still get you picks. They'll still get you prospects, right? And that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So it came down to when the Cubs were on a big winning streak and it looked like they're actually going for it this year. Everybody was good with it, right? But it wasn't sustainable. And holy crap, they went into like a 11-game losing streak. They find themselves 8 games out of first place. They're not going to end up chasing down the Brewers. They're behind the Reds. And the Reds have a good combination of veteran and young talent. Like Jesse Winker, damn near leading the league in home runs, right? But also Joey Votto deciding he can hit home runs whenever he wants to. He just has to decide to do it.
Yeah. Look, I think I'll do that today. Yeah. Actually, the Reds are kind of exciting to watch, you know? I mean, the Reds have actually been like, I would watch a Reds game. And I didn't feel that way about the Cubs.
Even with Amir Garrett possibly learning all of the wrong sort of attitudinal mannerisms from having Trevor Bauer on that team. You don't have to go in every game wanting to fight somebody.
Yeah.
But why is every game you trying to fight some damn body, right?
Yeah.
Why then our Cubs players, we know they're a bunch of knuckleheads. But you also know that you're trying to right the ship, and here you are here taunting Amir Garrett, who the next damn day might just want to fight you in the parking lot. You have better shit that you need to be thinking about. Now, I don't mind if my team is like, has had enough of some dudes on the other team and they get puffy chested and we got to let them know we've had enough of this shit. Right? But I do believe when that series is over with, you leave it there.
Yes.
Don't bring it to the next series.
Yes.
And these two teams are doing that, and neither of you are going to win this division. It's a waste of time. So everybody's traded, right? And they're not just traded. They're traded to contending teams on the East and West Coast. They've gotten you a bundle of prospects, and in my opinion, they could have gotten more. I think they could have gotten more for Chris Bryant, but part of that is like when you trade these players, right? It was trade deadline day is fantastic, but at trade deadline day, at some point, other general managers know you have to make a deal. So they're going to offer you less now.
That's right.
Right? Chris Bryant should have been traded in March if you could have been. Right? You should have entered the season with him. That's the point where you get the most back for the guy. Right? Why do you get to the trade deadline with all of these guys? Right? But I'll say that what I saw coming back, I'm like, you know what? The Cubs can now be third place next year or fourth place next year. Right? Get a high draft pick in the first round.
Yeah.
The same for the following year, and then you're going to start seeing this payoff.
Yeah.
This is what when the White Sox traded Chris Sale a couple years ago, White Sox fans were like upset. You just traded our best pitcher. he wanted to win with this team. We had one of the best pitchers in the AL, and we traded him, and we just got some prospects who might not work out. Well, Yohan Moncada's working out,
Sure
right? You know, like Michael Kopech is working out for you. Like, these guys are working out. They're going to work out. You're in a position where you traded someone and ended up with Eloy Jimenez.
Uh-huh.
You know, you traded someone and found yourself with enough money to do the negotiating for Luis Robert. And there's all these things you did on the south side of Chicago that now you're in contention. This is kind of what you have to do. So you have to, like, not just spend, because not everyone is the Dodgers.
Right. Or the Yankees.
Yeah. Or the Yankees. And what have the Yankees discovered? The Yankees have discovered that effectively they have an underachieving major league roster who are just tired from the pressure that's on them right now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you know, there's those commercials where it's like, it's okay, kid. You know, like the mom is yelling, like, go ahead, Johnny, you're gonna get a hit next time. And the dad's like, or maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe you won't. Not everybody does this kind of thing, right? The Yankees need to be comfortable with that sort of thing, right? Yeah. Like, you know what? Maybe the Red Sox will win this division. You know, maybe the Rays will end up in the World Series again. Maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Take the pressure off. Be competitive in games, right? Just be competitive, because I think the Yankees are pressing, right? Because Stanton and Judge are supposed to have 60 home runs a year. Yeah. The Yankees are supposed to win every game by 5 runs. Yeah. And they can't. Yeah. And this is a problem. I think the psyches are messed up. Yeah. With Anthony Rizzo coming to your team as a spark, and Anthony Rizzo is older than he is young now. Uh-huh. Right? Like, he's not, Anthony Rizzo's not, like, Mark McGwire didn't just go to the Yankees. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you got a first baseman you're gonna love in that town for the most part. You got the nicest possible of the Yankee guys, right? But I'm willing to bet that, like, he's not the thing that puts you over the top, right? It's good on Anthony. Somebody's gonna make good for that dude to send him to a contender. And the Yankees are always a contender. But the problem with the Yankees, I think, is they're supposed to not be contenders, they're supposed to be winners. And they're not, right? No one's afraid of them anymore. Yeah. And when I look at that lineup, I love the lineup. I like Judge. I love Gleyber Torres. I love DJ LeMahieu. Gary Sanchez, who can, I mean, he's only playing 3/4 of the games he got to be eligible for, but whatever. I love Gary Sanchez. Yeah, right? I like Stanton. Yeah, Stanton? A lot, yeah. That probably like the former Mike Stanton. Like, these guys are a bunch of guys I would take on my team. Yeah. The Cubs take DJ LeMahieu tomorrow. Okay, so would you take Brett Gardner? Because I like Brett Gardner. I wouldn't take Brett Gardner. Here's why. Okay. Because I can only take a guy like Brett Gardner if Brett Gardner is 3 years younger. Because the thing that Brett Gardner gives you is speed. And every year, guys who are high stolen base guys steal less bases because they're getting older, and now they're becoming more risk averse. So the thing you need him for is his speed. And I don't think he's got the speed he had at his highest value. Yeah. There was a point in which absolutely Brett Gardner would have been my center fielder or left fielder, for sure. And I'm not sure that that's a thing now. He's going to end up being a very good outfielder for somebody. Yeah. He's not going to steal you 30 bases. He's not going to steal you 25 bases. He's going to steal you 15 bases. And at that point, there's a lot of guys who are slightly average hitters, right? Without a whole lot of pop in their bat, who are going to steal you 15 bases in the course of the season. Yeah, but you see, they're not Brett Gardner. And I just want to make the case for Brett Gardner, because he's the only one left of those amazing Yankees years, right? I mean, that guy understands winning, and that guy understands winning the way that a team wins. He just gets that. And so as far as that, like, kind of veteran. That's how I feel about DJ LeMahieu. That veteran guy with grit, you know, that some teams just need to just sit there as like this really heavy anchor, creates this black hole center of gravity that all the young guys are like, oh, that's what it is. You know, that intangible sense of just knowing. I would take Brett Gardner for that, including, you know, because he can throw in the other stuff. He can get on base sometimes. He can catch a ball here and there. He can show up when he's got nothing left in the tank and hit a home run. Well, currently right now, see, and that's what I'm doubting. Right now, he's hitting 195, which apparently a lot of major leaguers are doing. Yes. He's got 4 home runs and only 1 stolen base in 226 at-bats. At this point, Brett Gardner is even war. Like, he's not the Brett Gardner we remember isn't the Brett Gardner we're getting, right? So Brett Gardner's going to end up on our team.
To the plate, I'm like, dude, didn't you like age out of this like 5 years ago? How are you still there? I don't understand. But if you are still there, come and play on my team. Just sit there in the dugout. Teach guys how to chew gum. You know how to chew gum.
Teach guys how to chew gum. Yes.
Teach them how to chew gum like winners, and they will win. You know, that's what I think about Brett Gardner. Yeah.
Well, whoever your team is, he's a free agent next year.
Okay, so yeah.
And currently, he is 37.
37. Okay, so yeah, maybe the Cubs need to bring him over just to like counter David Ross's, gravitas with some of his own winning ways, and he can just
end up signing him. They'll end up signing because he'll be very inexpensive and can play the outfield for you.
Yes, exactly. That'd be perfect.
At 38.
Yeah, at 38. And he doesn't seem to get hurt that much. So
in 2011, he stole 49 bases.
Wow. Oh man, Brett Gardner. I mean, he just steps up to the plate, and you're like, well, how are you doing this? I would love to be exposed on a daily basis to the mystery that is Brett Gardner.
24 in 2013, 21 in 2014, 20 in 2015, 23 in 2017, and that's the highest ever he's had since that point. 2017 was the highest he's had, and that's why you have him, because he had that speed. And I suspect that's gone now.
Yeah.
So now Brett Gardner's a good clubhouse guy.
Yeah, exactly, and that I would want. That I think I would want. I haven't.
His birthday is actually very close to ours, so now I just became a bigger Brett Gardner fan. Yay for Brett Gardner! But he's August 24th. He can stay on the Yankees and do that too, because I also think that given his legacy as one of the, that streak of wins, being on those winning teams, is he's probably one of the few reasons left why the fans aren't actually trying to actively murder the players, or finding Aaron Boone at a restaurant somewhere.
Yeah.
Because Yankees fans want to put blame anywhere they can.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It is really scary.
This is why I also feel like at trade deadline time, please consider that when your team is moving folks off of its roster, they aren't giving up on you, the fan. They're also assessing who the competition is right now.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like the Yankees have to assess if they think they can catch the Red Sox and beat the Rays.
Yeah.
Right? Toronto's not like the thing to be feared that they ought to be. So the Yankees have time to get their shit together before Toronto gets this shit together. That's your gamble.
Yeah.
But if you're the Cubs, the Brewers have 3 Cy Young candidates.
Oh my gosh, the Brewers.
You need to there's a point at which you have to say to yourself, we're not gonna beat those guys by six games in this division. Yep. And if we're not gonna do that, how do we get better by the point at which their arms wear out?
Right.
You gotta think about it that way.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, not being a Chicagoan, and not having like a lifelong attachment to the Cubs. I mean, who I was thinking about over this past week was, Jim Price that we had on last time. Yeah. Just like he's been a Cubs fan since he was a little kid.
Right.
It must have been tough, and he's like my example of being like, wow, that must have been.
People in this town are in mourning. And I'm just like, this is the best possible outcome, because if you want, you will have beloved players on this team again.
Yeah, you will.
The reason you're attached to these guys is they won a World Series in 2016.
That's right.
If they lost to the Indians, you love them because they're the Cubs, but you might understand a little more that they have to go, because you still be looking for that World Series. You're still trying to relive. You're hanging on to that thing, that day, that event.
Yeah.
And I was on a bar with a whole bunch of strangers that night when they won, and that was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And I want that experience again in this town, but I know you're not going to get it with the guys who are here, because you won't be able to afford them.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to afford to bring anybody. In fact, the biggest albatross that hung on the Cubs the entire last 6 years is Jason Hayward's contract.
Oh.
Right? Jason Hayward got signed here to be a power guy and an amazing glove in right field. And what they paid for him is not what they got.
Right.
And that contract legit hamstrings them in paying anybody else who's to come to the Cubs. Yeah. Paying your own guys, that's one thing, right? But you couldn't move Hayward to replace him for somebody who's a lot less, right? Who will do the job Hayward was doing, which would have really helped you.
Okay. So let's review the names real quick, just because I know we could just say like it started with Darvish.
It did. It started with Darvish.
Yep. And I'm going to say that a guy like Anthony Rizzo, being by all accounts a pretty great guy.
Yes.
I'm happy for him that he gets to, in the next phase of his career, be on the East Coast in that exciting AL division.
Sure.
I mean, from the point of view of a player, I would be like stoked that
I'm excited for him because he's a left-handed hitter hitting the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, my stats are going to be great. I'm going to have fun, and same for Chris Bryant. It just seems like it would be hard to find a nicer guy. I know a lot of baseball players are really nice guys, and so why shouldn't he land with a team that looks like it's pretty much destined to totally take the NL and get to the World Series? I mean, how wonderful for him.
I would feel worse if players like Rizzo and Bryant Baez were traded to, like, the Marlins or the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, or the Royals.
You know what I mean? Like that would I would feel worse about that because then they're gonna go to teams in bad situations.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's ever gonna get righted?
Yeah.
You might be getting higher prospects, but instead of turning to contenders, like getting a number 9 and 12 or whatever it is prospect out of the Yankee farm system for Anthony Rizzo is a fantastic thing to do.
It is. Yeah, no, it's exciting. And and from Rizzo's perspective, I mean, I was not even thinking about Rizzo yesterday. I happened very fortunately to come across the Red Sox Rays game on the radio. That was wow. I mean, that was the best game all season, period.
Yeah.
Any teams at all. That was a playoff game. I loved it. And so I'm looking at the standings and I'm watching the Rays and the Red Sox play, and I'm looking all this over, and I said, in the end, and it's just because the Yankees are the Yankees. This is a competitive division.
Yeah.
I really doubt the Yankees are going to make it up, but it's August 1st. The Yankees could make it up.
They could.
And at least theoretically, which makes it an exciting place for Anthony Rizzo to be. It's just exciting.
Yep.
Even if they don't even make the wild card, it doesn't matter. It's just exciting. It's going to be such a fun 2 months. And for Chris Bryant, to go to the first place team, period.
Yep.
I mean, how wonderful is that? How wonderful.
To go to a first place team when the Padres and the Dodgers, the day after you get there, the Padres and Dodgers have problems.
I know, right?
Fernando Tatis on the injured list again.
Yeah.
With this weird shoulder thing he keeps separating, right? Yeah. The Dodgers had to trade for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Uh-huh.
When the front runner in the division needs those two players, that tells me they're worried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Of course they are. I mean, look at the last 2 games. The last 2 games have been bullpen games.
Yes.
For the Dodgers, what did they use? Like 9 pitchers on Friday and 7 pitchers yesterday. I mean, that is like really worrying. Gonsolin's like, I think went on the IL after he came out yesterday, and they just sent some of their relievers down to AAA, probably so they could get some rest.
Right.
Before they get hurt.
We just can't have them on the bench. They can't be sitting around here.
Yeah, you can't. No, bring them some other guys who haven't already overextended the duration of their arms, right?
Yes.
So you've got Scherzer to start on Wednesday, and I thought, I was mainly thinking that, whatever's going on with Trevor Bauer and whatever's going on with the other parties to that needs to become a private matter. So it just, and so far it has been, but I mean, there was even a headline, that his leave of absence was extended. This kind of stuff will keep coming up, but it can just be kind of, who cares anymore? Because Max Scherzer is here, and he may not put everybody away.
Max Scherzer going to the Yankees is Max Scherzer to the Dodgers. Max Scherzer to the Dodgers is there's now an adult in the room.
There's an adult in the room. And right? I got to tell you, he looks good in blue. And I knew he would. He looks really good in blue. And not only is he an adult, but he is a superstar beyond superstars.
That to me is the thing that people ought to be worried about with that team.
Yeah.
Is that they didn't go out there and like make a trade for some like hot-headed, the reason that you got Trevor Bauer was you wanted his arm and his ability. Yeah. But his personality is such that it's possible for him to, from a chemistry standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everywhere Trevor Bauer goes, people can't. They're happy to see him here, but they can't wait to see him leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not what's happening with Max Scherzer.
No.
Even in Max Scherzer's fiery asshole way, they're glad he's on their team.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Grandpa's here, and that's gonna calm everything the fuck down.
It is.
Right?
I mean,
Grandpa's coming for business here.
He shows up in the dugout last night because I put after the Rays Red Sox. Oh my God! If you have a chance to watch that game tonight, I mean, tonight has got to be like the best game ever because yesterday was the best game ever. Sure. And we're not done. There's another game. I'm so excited about today's Rays Red Sox game. But after all that was done and I could kind of let it go, I switched over to see what was happening with the Dodgers and the D-backs, and the cameras were constantly on Scherzer in the dugout. That was the show last night. I know there was a game on the field, but that's not what they're showing us. They're showing
you Scherzer because they know that very soon, very soon, it's on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You are now you get to watch a pennant chase starting basically August 1 now.
Yep. And
we're not waiting for September.
What we were seeing the whole time that the cameras were on Scherzer was a man who was standing with a bunch of other pitchers and just talking constantly.
Yep.
So now, because it's not only that you have him showing up on the mound, but you have him showing up with the pitching staff.
Yep.
And teaching them everything. It would be like getting Mariano Rivera at any point in a season and him just showing everybody how to throw his cutter.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Or at least like explaining how it is you approach a situation.
Yeah.
Knowing you're going to get this guy out.
Yeah.
Right. And how you deal with the frustration if it doesn't happen. Like what Kelly Jansen right now is melting down out there. Kelly Jansen is melting down out in the Dodgers, out there for the Dodgers, and Craig Kimbrell got traded to the White Sox.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's help that can come your way that isn't coming your way, right? So you just got to deal with it. You got to eat it.
Yeah,
right? There's not somebody coming to take that pressure off. You got to eat it. So having someone like Scherzer come along who's like, I get it, kid, right? I get it. Here's how we get through it. That's what Scherzer would do for you.
Yeah, and he knows how. He knows how like nobody I've ever seen, And Hershiser was talking on the day after the trade, so that would have been Friday. We knew, so I put on the Dodgers on Friday to see what they were saying. And Hershiser was talking about the total package. I mean, hey, that's like so cliche, but just this whole range of skills that Scherzer brings to any team. And he mentioned something about being able to pitch out of the bullpen. I'm like, that man is not going to be a bullpen pitcher. But then I realized, he's talking about.
Even when we get to the playoffs, he's not coming out of the pen. No.
Yeah, he might in the playoffs though, right? I mean that's
your playoff rotation is very likely like Walker Buehler, like Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Like think about that, right? Like Kershaw's your number 3 guy.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That is not bad. And I think that's also inevitable just because of the hits that they've taken to their pitching staff just before and just after the trade. I mean, this was like so prescient and so smart. And, I think that when we've talked about this a little bit when the Dodgers got Mookie Betts, that was the person coming onto that team that allowed me to finally shrug off all of the bad taste in my mouth from the Frank and Jamie McCourt era, because I still hadn't forgiven the Dodgers for Frank and Jamie.
Okay.
And then, but I could shrug it off because Mookie Betts, I'm not going to not root for Mookie Betts, and I'm not going to not follow everything he does. And but then I was kind of feeling like, kind of over the whole Bauer thing. But then there's Scherzer, and it's all finished. This is now my favorite team. It's now my favorite team.
In the beginning of the year, when we were picking teams, I picked the Padres, right? I picked the Padres because I feel like in this year, like last year, I wanted to see the Padres beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just too fucking good. The Padres weren't ready. This year, I feel like the Padres, they're ready now, right? But now,
you're right.
Every position has an all-star at it.
Right.
If you're a Dodger, like Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, like all these guys, like Max Muncy's like basically my favorite Dodgers, like
right.
Mookie Betts joined that team a year ago. Like they are ready. Justin Turner is the guy you can take a lead.
Yep.
Right? Like Justin Turner used to be needed there.
It's true.
Turner,
Yeah.
It should work out. It'll be fine with Justin. We'll be okay with Justin Turner. He's fine.
Yeah.
But next year we won't resign him.
Yeah.
Next year we'll woo like Chris Bryant. When you're doing that, and I think that like this strategy, it works for the Dodgers because they're willing to do this strategy, right? But it's only going to work for them. The Dodgers are like what the Cubs are doing. You have to win multiple World Series while you can, if you can, because at some point, Bellinger and Seager and Muncy and all these guys are going to cost you more money, right? Mookie Betts you give a ton of money to. Yes, that was his free agent pop. That happened, right? But this hasn't happened for Cody Bellinger yet.
Right.
And it's going to. And that's the point at which you see the Dodgers have to make some calculations. Like, if it comes around to like July 15th and the Dodgers are, like 8 games behind the Padres, right? And it's that walk year for some of these guys.
Yeah.
And they only won 1 World Series and some divisions and got knocked out. But if that starts happening, are they willing to say, we'll keep it all together, just try again? And now everybody on the team is a $120 million guy. That's not really a thing that people are going to do.
Right.
It's what the Cubs fans want this because it keeps the core together.
Right.
But to me, you've kept the core together and you've paid them what they're worth and you're still finishing 3rd or 4th.
Exactly.
You don't want that.
Yeah, in your perfect world, you do keep the core together and you win with them.
Yes.
In your perfect world, you find a way to keep the core together. It's special. It connects you to the fans.
I have no problem paying the extra to keep the core together if you're within 4 games of the team in first place.
Yeah.
When August is coming up,
yeah.
You're within 4 games. You can make 4 games up. Yeah. We're gonna do whatever I got to do to increase this payroll by $60-80 million. If that's what we got to do, we're gonna keep it together.
Yeah.
But if I find that we're almost double-digit games out, and it's not looking good, and our pitching staff is held together with like twine and bubble gum, that's the issue. So now I have
bubble gum.
I have a closer who I know is valuable, but we're not going to be in positions to use him. We're going to lose half these games.
Yeah.
Then this isn't going to work.
Yeah. Not at all. So let's talk a little bit about Javi Baez then. How about where he landed?
The Mets.
How about that? What do you think about that? Because that's somebody rather graciously called the Mets season turbulent, and I thought, wow, that was a very diplomatic way of putting it. So it's a mess in New York, over there at whatever they call it. It's not Shea Stadium, obviously, but let's call it Shea. It's a mess at Shea.
New Shea.
Yeah. So Javi Baez has walked into a mess.
Javi Baez has found himself on the New York Cubs. Because the makeup of that team is very Cubbian. Do you know what I mean?
No,
the New York Mets have a bunch of guys who individually you love to see play.
Yeah.
But with Jacob deGrom injured, you don't have a Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, you're in a lot.
That was the difference for the Mets. Jacob deGrom was a difference maker.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
Marcus Stroman is a fine pitcher, right? But he's not a second deGrom.
Yeah, not at all. And it's all on him now.
It's all on him now. Noah Syndergaard's not coming back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have one really good pitcher, one great pitcher on the IL, and a bunch of bats that I love the energy of the team.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, when shit gets rough, if accidentally the Phillies get their act together, the Mets have a problem.
Well, don't the Braves look like pretty promising at this point?
They sure do.
Yeah.
And the Braves don't have some of the problems the Mets have.
Yeah, exactly.
The Braves didn't lose to deGrom. The Braves lost some things, right? But the Braves are fairly steady.
Yeah, they are. And they had time to make up some things before the trade deadline.
Yep.
You don't make up Jacob deGrom. Nobody's on the market like Jacob deGrom, right? So let's say in the best possible scenario, what we're being told now is deGrom's back in September. And he's back, and he's back as deGrom in September. If the Mets can maintain a slim lead or swap first place with the Braves throughout the month, maybe the Mets have a chance come September.
My problem is in the National League, whoever's in the NL East needs to win a division because the wild card is not coming out of the East.
That's true.
The wild card is coming out of the West. So that being the case, if you're the Braves, you need to win it. If you're the Mets, you need to win it. right? Philly's not going to win. So, like, if you're one of those two teams, you got to win it. And so you got to do what you got to do to make that happen. You can't. The Braves didn't lose a Jacob deGrom, but they're absolutely going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Javi to the Mets becomes interesting because Javi Baez and Francisco Lindor playing in the same infield.
Uh-huh.
That means you're not going to get any cheap runs.
That's true.
Those days are over with, right?
Yeah.
Nothing cheap is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, you might not even get like Dork Snort singles, whatever it is Hawk Harrelson used to say. Like that shit's not happening.
Yeah.
Even in short outfield positions, because they're going to chase those down.
Yeah.
You need to hit balls over outfielders' heads.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right?
It's all going to be home runs or
you're not stealing bases. You're not stealing on them.
Yeah.
We might see hitting ball tricks before next weekend.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that defense just got a lot better.
Yeah. I'll be watching Mets games just to watch Lindor and Baez do stuff together.
Yeah.
That's like, I love a good shortstop second baseman pair. I haven't seen one I really liked in a long time. This one's going to capture my attention. This is going to capture my fancy. Big time.
This is like, there's times in which there are two players that's like, oh man, someday those two players are going to come to our team. You know, we're going to get one of those guys and they'll play together on our team. And you've never got a chance to get Lindor here. Uh-huh. Right? Because that would have been a difference maker for the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody who's their head's always in the game. Uh-huh. Right? Lindor makes the right choices all the time, right? And that's what the Cubs were missing with the core together. They're missing people making Javi Baez not capable of making the right choice all the time.
Right.
Right? Lindor does. Yeah. Right?
Right.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I don't know how I'm going to figure out I don't know how I'm going to watch all this baseball I want to watch over the next month, but I'm going to watch all this baseball that I want to watch. I'm still feeling like the Rays are going to be in the ALCS. I just really feel that way. Although I'm not positive because Red Sox and Rays both just are phenomenal. Right.
You need the Red Sox to kind of like fall down or something.
Yeah, well, if I want to root for the Rays, but yesterday's game, I mean, they kept swapping the lead, and I was rooting for whoever had just lost the lead to get it back. It was just, I didn't care.
That's fine baseball fan way of thinking about it, yes.
Yeah, it was just so exciting, like every time you kind of and then something amazing would happen, and then something amazing. I mean, seriously, it was a playoff game. It was so much fun to watch, and I'm pretty sure ESPN's got them on the Sunday night game tonight. And so I'm not missing it because yesterday was the day that the Rays took over first place of the AL East from the Red Sox. So tonight's the night that the Red Sox are going to get that back. It is awesome.
Good stuff.
I wanted the Dodgers. I think I wanted like the 2020 Dodgers to get Scherzer and Turner. I wanted the team that could challenge the Giants as intensely, as fiercely as the Red Sox and the Rays are challenging.
The fact that the Giants are leading the division is kind of a shocker at August 1st.
By kind of a lot. And the Dodgers so far are not, at least like the last 2 days or any, and kind of there's been some sluggishness for a while. The Dodgers not looking like the team that's going to challenge the Giants.
Right.
So then you look at the Padres and you say, come on, Padres, be that team, but they aren't.
Right.
They aren't, what are they, like 5 games out? I forget, And
the Padres did a thing too at the trade deadline. They traded for Adam Frazier, who's a second base outfielder. He's a second baseman and outfielder for the Pirates. And I literally think they only did it. Like, I couldn't figure out why they would do this. Why they don't need Adam Frazier. But I think they did it because the White Sox were close to getting him.
Oh.
And I really feel like there was some gamesmanship happening here. They traded for a guy they didn't need. And to stop a team from getting a guy, right, who they may end up playing in the World Series. Like, the White Sox just might get to the World Series. Yeah. Right? If they get to the World Series, you want them to have flaws, right? So you traded for a guy they were going to – it's like they still believe they can catch the Giants.
Right.
They still believe they can. Right. So they removed a piece from the board so their opponent in the World Series wouldn't have that piece they need. is what it feels like. Because right now, Adam Frazier's playing the outfield because Jake Cronenworth, I was watching the Jake Cronenworth situation. Like, you're not going to sit Cronenworth to play Frazier.
No.
That being a thing.
Both of them. You need the hits.
Yes.
The
So Frazier's playing the outfield.
Way too far out of first place. They are too far out of first place.
I didn't think that the Padres had that bad an outfield that they needed outfield help.
No.
Not in the form of like a Pittsburgh Pirates second baseman outfield. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if it was like, you know, they traded for some other like all-star outfielder for a low-ranked team, you know, like a team that's not going anywhere other than the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like I know there's other players who fit this bill. If they traded for Whit Merrifield, right? I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You can get some decent OBP here, right? You can get some speed, you can get some activity out there. This is going to work out.
It's
I get that.
A really fun name. I mean, Whit Merrifield. I mean,
if they traded for Byron Buxton, right? If they traded for Byron Buxton, I'd be like, oh, this makes all kinds of sense for the Padres.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, get Byron Buxton. That works.
Yeah,
you coach your team.
If
you know?
Plays, you know, I love Byron Buxton, but if he plays,
yes,
that's why you don't trade for him. I think I wouldn't trade for him.
Well, currently, because it seems like he gets injured a lot, but I think he gets injured a lot doing entirely too damn much for the Twins.
Yeah.
Right? Like, go to a team where you don't have to do everything.
Right.
And I think that's the part. Right now, for the Twins, he's got to do a lot.
Oh, that's true. You know, yeah. If he were on a team where a lot of people carried a lot more of the expectation for speed, for power, for defensive.
He has to play basically. He's playing two outfield positions, right? Like, can he not do that? Then great.
Yeah.
You know, we can stop that from happening.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Yeah, that would have been good. That would be good.
The Twins' window clearly closed, right?
You'd have like Profar in left, Buxton in center, and Will Myers and Manny Machado in right.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Manny's playing third, so it'd be left field.
Well, he is playing third, but he plays it from right field a lot.
He does play from right
field. It's true. It's so cool to watch
the number of times the shift is on. Yeah. And Manny Machado makes that play right behind second base.
Yeah.
What?
I was trying to decide the other day, like from the pitching side and from the hitting side, who are my two currently playing? Who are my favorite veteran players? And obviously Scherzer's my favorite veteran pitcher. I think Manny Machado is my favorite veteran position player. So those are my.
I think my favorite veteran pitcher. It's good you said veterans. I think my favorite pitcher is just went on the IL again. He's got to have Tommy John surgery. Tyler Glasnow might have been my favorite pitcher.
Oh yeah, but right? Not veteran.
But my favorite veteran pitcher might be Yu Darvish.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or Zach Greinke.
Yeah. Oh, Zach Greinke.
Because Zach Greinke's a weirdo, right?
Great pitcher though.
I can't get over Zach Greinke telling players what he's throwing.
Yeah.
Because they still can't hit it. Like that. Exactly. I love that about Zach Greinke.
That's a smart guy. So that's fair. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
My favorite position player, I think, is still on the IL currently. Because I think that's Alex Bregman.
Oh wow.
Alex Bregman might be my favorite position player because he can play anywhere, like Chris Bryant, right? Like Bryant was my favorite Cub because Bryant can play 4 different positions for you, right? But like, the attitude of Bregman is a killer instinct kind of thing that I just want in a contending baseball team player.
Yeah. Chris
Bryant's approach and attitude is that he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he really is.
Right? Like he's a really nice guy. Yeah. And when I'm talking about contenders, I need on the field, there's a level of meanness I need that has to translate to your other teammates that gets them up and going. Right? And I don't think that Bryant will do that for his teammates. Thankfully, there are people in the Giants who don't need him to do that.
Yeah, Brett Gardner would totally do that.
Brett Gardner would do that. Brett Gardner would do that. It's that attitude that like Machado and Tatis have on the Padres that when they step out on the field, they've come to kick your ass.
That's right.
Right, and I like players who overtly have that without being fake tough guys like Amir Garrett, let's say.
That's why I like Tim Anderson so much.
Exactly that, right?
Yeah. Tim Anderson's awesome. You ask him who's your favorite player, and he's like me.
Yes, That.
The best player, me.
I'm the best player. I'm my favorite player, and I'm going to show you why today. Yep. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out and eat the Indians for lunch. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and eat the Tigers for lunch today.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go out and do. I'm like
going to pick all my teammates up, and everybody's going to be better because I showed up. Yep.
Yes.
Anderson and Abreu. Wow.
That's it. Yeah. And some guys are just nice guys. By personality, they're lovely human beings. Uh-huh. But I want Juan Soto's swagger.
Yeah.
I need a guy to have that.
Yeah.
Like you do the job and you have the swagger because that's worth something. Yeah. Sometimes having that attitude is worth one run.
Yeah.
I want that.
So I've never connected to Bregman the way that you have. Is that what you see in him? Should I pay more attention to Bregman?
Yeah. Bregman is the kind of guy that I think, like a lot of players, his teammates love him, but his opponents have to hate him. Okay. Right? Because there's a smugness to him, right? Oh. But it's a smugness that comes out of his success.
Okay.
Right? He's not so smug that I think he's a jerk that I have to hate now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't, because sometimes I think that's like a few Dodgers have that, right? Yeah. I don't see that in Bregman, right? Yeah. In Bregman, I see that we're going to have fun and we're going to kick some butt and we're not backing down from anybody.
Okay.
Right? It's like Altuve has it, but Altuve has a face you want to punch. I feel like if I met Jose Altuve in a gas station, I'd end up in a fight with him over a Snickers bar, right?
And then I can tell you, you get this steady diet of this, media narrative that he's such a nice and special person, so we have to pity him. I don't want players I feel like I have to pity. That's the last thing I want. I am not into pitying these guys.
No.
Never.
No. Altuve has a face like Bryce Harper's. Like you want to punch him. You want to hit him with a shoe. Because there's something about these fucking guys that man, I don't even know how your teammates stand you.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. Clearly they do it. Bregman isn't you don't want to punch him. He's taken some of the swagger and attitude from his teammates who you do want to punch, and he's turned it into something else that you don't want to punch him.
Okay. So Bregman's got it all. Bregman's like Bryce Harper.
That's my guy.
Punch is what we're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'll pay attention because I actually really do kind of like Bryce Harper. He's not my favorite, but I'm always like, ooh, let me see what happens.
See Bryce Harper's face and it just quickly get him off my screen. Give me the Gene Segura again already. Can I get Gene Segura back? Can I get Reese Hoskins back?
Yeah.
I like those guys. They're likable guys who are trying to do the damn job, but they're not Bryce Harper's stuff. Andrew McCutchen. Give me Andrew McCutchen back.
Yeah.
Right? Put him. Can we just have him in again?
Yeah.
Damn it, Bryce Harper.
Wasn't Scherzer's last start with the Nationals? It was against the Phillies, right?
I think so. Yes.
And I was watching Andrew McCutchen come up to the plate against Max Scherzer, and I'm like, man, this is like a dream come true. I mean, talk about favorite veterans. And here's these two guys, and they both know how to win, and they both know how to not get rattled, and they both figured that they're going to be the best. And I mean, there's this level of veteran skill that's just, I don't know. I'm really kind of bedazzled by it these days. I like the youth, and I know there's a big youth movement in baseball, and I want it, and I don't want it to change. But man, there's just something about that.
I think part of it is also it's what we're seeing is an era of baseball in which the youth movement has absolutely changed the dynamic on the field. But the pennant chase is so compelling because of both the veterans and the young players that you're looking at this mix of the teams who are in contention, and you have to applaud these veterans for getting there.
Yes.
You want the best thing for them. You have to applaud them.
I mean, you watched the Rays yesterday with, this is a team with Wander Franco, right?
Wander Franco, yeah.
And Ji-Man Choi.
Yep.
You're looking, or run into the wall guy, Kiermaier.
Yes, run into the wall guy.
Yeah. And then Mejia, instead of Zanino, Mejia was behind the plate last night. And you're just, I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing to see that mix of experience and, and youth and, it's like the experienced guys are making the youth more experienced and the young guys are making the
That's a real thing.
feel more youthful, and
Yep.
it's a beautiful mix. It's a beautiful mix and I'm loving it. And so I'm loving, told you, the Red Sox and the Rays. I'm loving that battle. I'm regretting that we're not seeing that on the West Coast, and I'm hoping that changes, right?
Yeah.
Central divisions. Why did the A's even trade for anybody? Like that had me a little bit baffled, because why?
Because okay, all right. The A's as a franchise are like, they're like the nicest multi-level marketing pyramid scheme you've ever seen in your life. Like, the A's need to keep you believing they're really in it. When they know it's all about kind of like just maintaining a level of interest, and they have to get lucky to make that jump. Like luck has to happen. Something. It's like when the Royals were bad forever, and then suddenly the Royals would win 2 championships back to back. Like they didn't purposefully, something lucky happened that all of a sudden now you've got all-stars and an MVP or like a Cy Young winner, right? The A's
happen to stumble through a winning season, then that'll be awesome.
They've stumbled their way every year. They stumble their way into being in the conversation at the end.
Yeah.
This is why it is that Rodriguez got fired last year for the White Sox. It's not that what was needed was Tony La Russa.
Right.
Somewhere in the White Sox upper management was the understanding there's no damn way in the world the A's are supposed to beat you in the playoffs.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Like, I think that's where Renteria was meant, not Rodriguez. Ricky Renteria. That's, I think, the problem is that you couldn't get past the team who was going to just lay down for you in the playoffs, because that's what they do. They are built for regular season excitement. They're not even built to win the division. They're built for regular season excitement, period.
And you get it. Yeah. The A's are fun to watch.
And then they're done. They're out of here. They're done. It's Matt Olson. The A's are Matt Olson and Matt Chapman and the rest of the Partridges.
Yeah. Well, they get Josh Harrison, and I'm like, well, I will watch them because Josh Harrison's exciting. He'll bring a level of excitement. The A's are fun.
Yes, but like they're not the Beatles.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are the Beatles.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not the Monkees. No. They're the Partridge Family. That's who they are. Every damn year, there's someone lovable on the team. They had Jerks and Profile for the longest time. He was the most lovable A, right? But now it's like we got a bunch of guys named Matt. We have pitchers. We have pitchers who are very good when they're pitching. I'm stunned that they weren't sellers. Like, you're not selling? Really? No, they can't sell. They have to be buyers.
Can't get them off the bus. I can't remember what the Partridge Family's bus was called, but it's like, you couldn't get them off. They're installed on the bus. That's it. So because I think we can pretty much say with a total confidence at the end.
Are you telling me that you think you're catching the Astros? What?
Not a chance. The Astros have won that division. That division's finished.
They won the division on day 3.
Yeah.
Like, if you think you can have competitive games against the Astros, I understand, because you can't have competitive games against the Astros.
Right.
I completely understand that thing. And the Angels are absolutely trying to wallow in last place as much as they possibly can.
That's
right. The Angels want you to scrap and claw and fight with them for last place.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're gonna have to pry this basement out of our cold dead teeth. The basement is ours. Shohei Ohtani, go out there and hit 4 home runs and show them how we can lose. Ohtani is hitting home runs and pitching lights out for their last place asses. And like, you have to, if you legit thought you had a shot, what you were supposed to do was convince the Angels that they had no chance, and that's who you traded.
Yeah.
You take their farm system and you put it on your major league roster, and you're better. Yes, you're better smart.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do anything you have to do if you really think so.
Yeah.
But you can't. You must. If you're the A's, you have to break that team down and compete with the Angels for last place for 2 years, and then come back. And by that time, the Astros won't be able to afford the players they've got.
That's true.
Carlos Correa's leaving.
Yeah.
Right? Altuve's George Springer's already gone.
Yeah.
Bregman will not finish his career as a member of the Astros.
At some point, Greinke's going to hang it up.
Greinke's going to retire at some point, yes.
Or he'll pitch till he's 50, because I don't know why he can't.
Yeah.
He can just lob 40-mile-an-hour balls over the plate.
As currently constituted, as currently constituted, you are not winning out there.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I can't name a player on the Texas Rangers, and so I'm going to say that they have won the race to the bottom. They have completely won it because I can't name one.
Well, they have Nick Lowe. They traded Joey Gallo, so the Rangers are also the Rangers. Thomas thrown in. They traded Joey Gallo.
I could name.
Yeah, he went to the Yankees as well, right? He also went to the Yankees, and they drafted Al Leiter's kid.
Yeah, that's right. His nephew. Yeah, I think that's his nephew.
Oh, his nephew. Yeah. I thought it was his son.
I don't think so.
It is.
We can
check. We have Zach, the pitcher.
Oh yes, another family legacy player.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was.
He's a son, so maybe Leiters is the nephew.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a son.
Don't remember the
Zach Plesac.
Plesac, that's right. So I think
Plesac is already
No, so maybe it's the other way around. So one's a son and one's an uncle. I mean a nephew. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's Plesac is the uncle.
Is the uncle.
And Al Leiter's kid is his kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So more juniors coming up. Everybody's owning the junior, which I think is pretty cool. I think Tatis Jr. started something like I'm a junior too. I'm putting out of my unit. Yeah. It's possible. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there because I'm not knowledgeable. I'm just going to say it's possible that the Padres are going to look at where they're at and just concede and go ahead and do the surgery on Tatis.
I think they need to do the surgery on Tatis, at this point, because otherwise, he's got one more time in him to get injured, and it's going to be when you need him for the stretch run, and he won't be available.
Exactly. So might as well just go ahead and I'm sorry to see it because of all the excitement we had around the Padres having.
And it looked bad when I saw that slide. That looked rough.
Yeah, it was. And and what they said the last time he had this shoulder dislocation separation is that if it happened again, they'd have to do surgery. So it's happened again now. So what are they going to do? I don't know. Yeah. I think they should do it, but I hate to sort of put the Padres out of the conversation, but I think it's probably worth considering that we have to do that. So the AL Central, the AL Central.
Yes.
How is it that the White Sox are so untouchable? What is their best asset?
Well, they play in a division that has the Twins.
So
and the Royals.
Competition can't touch them.
I'm going to say, you're playing 19 games against some woebegone-ass teams that have underachieved and then leaned into the underachieving.
Yeah, okay.
The Twins aren't just a bad team. The Twins they were a good team that became a bad team, and then it was like, well, fuck it, let's just really lean in.
Let's just be even worse. Yeah.
Absolutely, let's be worse.
Yeah, I'm afraid I do that sometimes.
The Twins were like division contenders, and then suddenly became like the Angels of the Central.
Yeah.
Right. That's totally what ended up happening, and so they looked into that. And the Indians are willing to give the White Sox a fight.
Yeah.
They're willing to give the White Sox. Last night, there was a whole lot of scoring being done. And I'm a little confused. Yeah. So Sevi, his last name I'm forgetting.
Zavala.
Yeah. He's been up for like about a month, right? And he's not had a home run yet. He hit his first career home run. In fact, he hit 3 of them in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, and I don't know why they're saying this, they keep saying that he's the first player major league player to hit his first 3 home runs in career home runs in the same game. And the reason I want to contest this is there was a Cubs opening day when Carl Tuffy Rhodes came up, who was a rookie. And Carl Rhodes, I believe, hit 3 home runs in that game and then was basically sent down within a month because he couldn't hit, right? But nobody had a book on him, so he hit 3 home runs that day. So I'm confused as to why we're saying his first 3 home runs were in the same game. He's the first major league player where this happened. When in the same city, this is already happening.
Yeah. Well,
so there must be a distinction I'm missing.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to call him. I'm not willing to call him sports radio to argue about.
Life's a little too short for that.
I will argue on Twitter about any number of dumbass things.
Yeah.
But I've already angered some of my friends by celebrating the Cubs breaking up this team because I'm looking for the future of what the Cubs can be. Yeah. Right? And the only way you're going to get there is if you give something up. And I don't really like what the Cubs used to do was all half measures. Yeah. In the old days, the Cubs would have just traded Bryant or Rizzo or Baez, kept everybody else, paid 2 of the 3 of them, and then finished in 4th place the next year.
Yeah.
Right? They're not doing that anymore, and I think they're too smart for that. And it means you got to do what you got to do now. Yeah, right now I'm watching Matt Duffy and Ryan Ortega and Rafael Ortega and these guys and David Bodie and a bunch of guys who really, these guys are going to be guys who won't be there when you're good again.
Okay.
Right? But this is going to be your Cubs team. They're going to be your Cubs team going for. They're going to look a lot like the Marlins used to look.
Okay.
But the Marlins don't look like the Marlins look anymore, right?
That's right.
They're good. They're surprising people.
Of what Marlins look like. I gotta close the loop on something that we've been talking about all season, which is
Jazz Chisholm's hair.
Junior's hair.
I knew it.
Because I got to spend some time visiting with my hairstylist yesterday, and I finally remembered to ask her about Jazz Chisholm's hair. And I told her, explained to her, as I've explained to you, how jealous I am that he manages to have this beautiful blue hair all the time.
Yes.
Whereas I tried to have blue hair and it lasted 3 days.
Yes.
And I shared with her what you'd said, that the difference between me and Jazz Chisholm Jr. is the major leaguer's salary. She got a pretty good laugh out of that. She said that probably is part of it. But she said the other stuff, this happens to be the same hairstylist who actually did my blue hair 10 years ago.
Yes.
So she said the problem actually is in the question. She said the technology has really changed. And he's getting blue hair with today's state-of-the-art technology.
Yeah.
I got 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That she thinks I could probably have much longer lasting blue hair now.
I haven't tried the last time. So I did blue hair for myself. Pre-dreadlocks me. Did blue hair in the early 90s. Did green hair at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. Right? And it was the go to the beauty supply store, buy the bleaching stuff, bleach it, go to the store where you would buy your spiked jackets, spiked wristbands, and t-shirts covered in skulls of your favorite death metal industrial bands, and buy your hair dye there.
Yeah.
Right? Get your Manic Panic. And that's what I did then.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it now, there's a different sort of situation you might go for.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can still do it that way, but you don't have to do it that way.
Yeah, no, you can go to somebody to do it professionally. And she said it is going to last longer. Plus, there's stuff they can send him home with.
Yes.
Where he can maintain it in between. Because she said her only question about it is, as a professional athlete, how often does he have to wash his hair? Because she said ideally you could go like a week without washing your hair, and that would make your color last longer. She has a hard time believing that would be possible for him. But she does think that maybe he gets to go see his stylist more often.
And I know that from for the last year or so, I was experimenting with color because I was coloring my beard. And I'm not doing it now because I'm experimenting with a different thing. I was coloring my beard not because I was worried about the gray, but I wanted to just try to see what it looked like with cutting my beard, facial hair to a different shape than I normally do. I used to just do a goatee with nothing on the sides, right? I stopped doing the goatee and went to something on the sides, but I wanted to see what it looked like with the dark color while doing that.
Yes.
And now I want to see what it looks like with full gray. So now I'm not coloring at all. But when I was coloring, I would shower and I would wash my face, and I could see, I could watch little by little as the color would come out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could absolutely see it happening.
Yeah.
And now I kind of want to dye it gray faster because I want to see my face more. So my hair on my head back here is a lot grayer than my hair in the front, right?
Oh, wow.
But I can't see this part, so I can't tell how gray it is until like sometimes when I put my hair in like a ponytail. Right now it's not in a ponytail. It's only my hair's only, it only looks up because I've got my earbuds on, right?
Okay, yeah.
But if my headphones aren't on, my hair down, I really can't see what's happening back here. But when I pull my hair back and more of my hair is up, then I can see the sections that are grayer.
Okay.
So it wasn't a thing where I was trying to like hide the gray because my hair up here is absolutely gray. So that's not an issue. I wanted to know what it looked like dark with a different shape. But now I'm kind of like, well, now I just want my gray to be my gray, and so I'm leaving it to gray up and see how fast that happens. You know, especially during COVID where you weren't, most of the time my face is covered by a mask anyway.
Right, right.
I had a customer come in yesterday and say to me, he was the first guy in. My mask wasn't up, my mask was down, and I went out to unlock the door, and it was my first customer day. It was 11 o'clock. He was waiting outside, and he's a relatively new dude. He's known me only for like maybe about a year. He's been a customer of ours. And he came in, and as he walks in, he goes, you know, I think this is the first time I've ever seen your face. Because every time he's come in, I had a mask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and like, you know, like
a customer, yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't up. And for where my location is, generally 95% of my customers, I bet, who walk in the door are going to be vaccinated. So I haven't necessarily had to worry about. I've got a mask up policy for people coming in, you know, but mine wasn't up yet because I only going out to unlock the door. And he came in with his mask up, and he goes, I honestly had no idea what your face looked like. I just realized that I've never seen your face before. I was all right. Well, wow, yeah, that's true.
This is what I look like.
That's the thing. Yeah.
You know, since we've done this podcast for a year now, and we've done it over Zoom, if you want, you can always go back to the first few episodes and see what you looked like a year ago.
It's true. In fact, I think this is kind of our 1-year anniversary, sort of, right? Because the season started in August last
year. Yeah, we're pretty close.
Didn't it? Like our 60 games? Because they blew all of July, which is the part that was amazing for us. Yeah. They screwed July up.
You know, I think I can tell you what the date of our first podcast was. It will be in this folder. What folder? It will be in this folder, and it will be, undo that. Oh, it's undone. Okay, I gotta scroll down. Our very first was on July 26, 2020.
So this does coincide with that week.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Beth.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You've done Drop Third Strike for a year.
Yep.
This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with us, Legion of Fan.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds to me like we're in it. At least, you know, we're gonna give it some time, right?
Yep.
We're in it.
Yep. Because now our next episode we're going to talk about what the benefit has been of the trade so far.
That's right.
Trade deadline baseball. Well, so far, like Javi Baez and Anthony Rizzo have had good days.
Yes, they have. They've had very good days. I think we should call a couple things and then check in. What I'm going to call is that the Rays Red Sox games are going to be must watch. And I think that the AL East is going to be continually exciting. I think that the AL Central, of course, is one, and so is the AL West. They're both one, but it doesn't make the White Sox or the Astros any less worth watching. What's interesting is when they play each other. That's the kind of thing to look at.
Right. Yes.
And as far as the National League goes, the East, I still really hope that the Phillies just kind of wake up and make it more intense. But I'm interested to see how the Braves go going forward. I'm still going to be watching to see Lindor and Baez play together as a defense for the Central. You know, I just think the Brewers have got it. The Brewers are amazing. I love watching the Brewers play. They are so good, and it is so much fun to watch them. And it's so much fun to watch Willie Adames there with I love it. I love that team. And with the NL West, I just really hope that the Dodgers can start challenging the Giants, and that we get an exciting run.
Right. And I think that will happen.
Yeah.
Especially now.
That's what I'm calling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
What are you gonna call?
I think I agree with everything you just said.
Oh, okay.
Right? I think I agree with all that. I will add that the way these games are going to play out is what I think is going to be really interesting. Because while the Astros are at the top of the West, the Astros play like they're chasing someone.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm interested in. I like seeing that.
Yes.
Right? I like seeing that thing. The Astros don't play like they're the Milwaukee Brewers play like they know they've got the division. Right? The Astros have the division, but they don't play like it. They play like people are chasing them.
That's
and they know
true.
it. Right?
That's
they know it. I don't think the Brewers are worried about what the Reds do, let's say. Right? Yep. I don't think that's the case. The Reds have to play with a chip on their shoulder to catch up. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to be able to.
And that's
the White Sox are going to get pieces back. Right? They're going to get pieces back. And now they have two closers. You know?
Awesome.
People trying to try to disrupt the White Sox.
Yeah.
Like Tony La Russa's job is going to be keeping his team's heads in it.
Yeah.
While people try to disrupt them.
It sounds like he can do that.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm watching.
I'm going to say that La Russa was a good hire.
I'm still not. There's some things he's done that I've been like, that's the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they needed La Russa to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that Ricky Renteria deserved the chance.
Yep.
You know, like, give Ricky Renteria one more year with this team and you make the moves you've made for this team. I think Ricky Renteria would have handled Mercedes better.
Yeah.
Right? I think he would have handled him better.
Yeah.
I think that the loss of Jimenez and Robert early in the season would have affected him, Renteria, the exact same way. Okay. Right? And I think he would have still been able to keep his team having fun with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Still having fun with it. And then if you tell him that now we're also going to give you extra bullpen help, right? Like that pitching staff didn't need an expert dude to like handle it. It just didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Tony La Russa is not the thing that helped Carlos Rodon, in my opinion.
That's true.
I think the pitching coach did.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
But I don't think La Russa did.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that pitching coach needs a raise.
I'm on the fence a little bit. I'm still gonna be thinking that La Russa might have been a good choice. I will always agree with you that they did wrong by Renteria. It was not fair.
If you tell me that like Gavin Sheets and Andrew Bond's development on this team is a La Russa thing, I'll listen. Right? But Andrew Bond was supposed to be ready last year.
Yeah.
So all right, those dudes, they stepped up. They came up and played.
Maybe what I'm thinking is that La Russa's kind of like the Brett Gardner of managers, where gotta finish with my man Brett Gardner because you know, he just like, okay, you have a winning way and it's seeping out of you. You just have a winning way.
You know what Tony La Russa at this stage in his career might be? He might be the Joey Votto of managers.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
Has not retired. We're all wondering why he's still there. Yeah. Right? There's a whole bunch of guys on the team just doing all kinds of wild, crazy shit, like good and bad, but they're winning games. Yeah. Right? Exactly. And there's Joey Votto in the center of it, keeping it relatively calm. Yeah. And then hitting home runs. Right? Joey Votto is chirping at people, pointing the finger, and then backing off. Yeah. Like Joey Votto has been in the league forever. He's seen it all. He's starting shit, but like not really. It's not him who's starting it. Yeah. But he's scared. I think the Tony La Russa might be like that. Like
I think okay.
Joey Votto of managers.
Love that. I love that. That is absolutely what it is. I'm totally on board. So, do you want? I would like to just tell you that. What day is your birthday?
25th of August.
The 25th.
Yeah.
Mine's the 20th. I come first.
You do.
Just making sure.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So, do you want to record next week, or do you want to record the following week? Are we calling man to be back in a week, or be back in 2?
I think we should be back in 2.
We'll be back in 2, Legion of Fans.
Back in 2 weeks.
So he's going to talk us out.
Yep. Thank you for watching another episode. And this was the trade deadline expose episode of Dropped 3rd Strike. Thank you for hanging out with us. And for myself, Terry, in Chicago, Illinois, and my podcast partner, Dr. Beth Stofka in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. I will just say, hey, there was something really cool I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. So I will just say, turn into the love.
Turn to the love, everybody.
We do love each other, and we love you, Legion of Fan, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
See you, Beth.
Bye-bye.